Hi, I'm DKWILL, and this is DK. We'll talk about it.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
My previous video was about a gold bug, bringing in gold-backed currencies and encouraging ones to invest in gold. I'm going to continue that thought pattern in this video. And the motivator in part for continuing that thought pattern is for articles like this that I hope I can impress upon my viewers the need to change the way we view money and change the way we view investing. Keep in mind, this is for entertainment purposes. Do not consider me your financial advisor. However, if you look back on some of the things I've told you in the past, you'll find that it's been beneficial. And I'm certain you can look back and you can see where I encourage ones to get into gold maybe a year or so ago. And now gold has become what is described here by this article from Glint, an unstoppable force. And let's glean some information out of this, because some people don't make a move because they're afraid that it's too complicated or that they're unfamiliar with it. And the good thing, Bogey, the good thing about buying gold through Glint is it's very uncomplicated. And if you know how to use a debit card, then you know how to use your Glint card as well. And you can move money around. But just since that video, gold has continued to go up. And you can see this article brings out another week, another record gold price right here, above $26.85 an ounce. Now I remember in that video I labeled it at $26.66 in the video that I just did a week ago. It says making the gain since the start of this year 30%, or more than 35% over the last 12 months. A staggering rise for something once derided as a barbarous relic. Bogey, no. Please forgive Bogey. I have a yellow-faced parrot. I sit in the living room and I do videos. I sit downstairs, he'll still squawk. So that's Bogey. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's dying. But you tell me another investment you could have made that is considered a safe, sound investment like gold, where you could have gotten 35% in the last 12 months. You will be hard pressed to do that. Now, of course, it could be done in crypto, but see, crypto's been pretty red lately because they've been shaking the rug to make it unattractive until they're ready. Now they're ready because they're pumping Bitcoin. And you can be sure when they pump Bitcoin, they're pumping the rest of the market too. So, if you compare gold to the S&P 500 over the last 5 years, there is a chart comparison here, including the COVID era. But what you see is where we are over the past 5 years is gold has outperformed the S&P 500. Now that's what a lot of people are comfortable with. And that's okay. But hopefully I am helping people to see that you can make investments yourself in places like Glint, places like Treasury Direct, and crypto, where we regular folks are front running the financial institutions. And it's still not too late for that either. But gold has outperformed the S&P 500 over the last 5 years. It goes on to say who's in charge. And it talks about within less than 3 weeks ago, before the U.S. presidential election, all media is in overdrive speculating about who might win, how close running will be, and what the consequences will be. In truth, this is all froth. No one has any real answers. All that can be said is that the U.S. so utterly divided and without any real obvious winner, the days after November 5 may very well turn ugly. It says this newsletter is rigorously apolitical, as am I, and what matters to us and me is the outlook for gold. With that in mind, it doesn't really matter much who is going to be in charge. Now think about that, because we all know that the dollar has performed terribly against everything, really, but absolutely against gold. And here's another chart for you to make that comparison. And you can see the dollar has lost value from 100% down to minuscule percentages. There's nothing there to be able to tell, but I can tell it's under 10%, and I can tell it's under 5% of its purchasing power barely 100 years ago. Well, 100 years ago, you could buy gold. In 1924, it says Americans that got used to gold costing around $20.69 an ounce. Bogey, it sounded like you said butthole. That's what it sounded like you said. Be quiet. During this era of remarkable stability, the average cost of gold was almost exactly $20.69 for roughly 12 years. That was 100 years ago. Now look how the dollar has sunk in price, whereas gold currently, even the AIs didn't get it right. An AI enhanced summary says that they were expected to average $1,900 per troy ounce in 2024. We've crushed $1,900 per troy ounce. This article here by CBS News shows that gold's price has soared past a record $2,700, and then it poses a question. No, it doesn't pose. It makes a statement. Why you should invest right now. Well, you should have invested a year or two ago when I said that, but it's not too late now. Why? One good reason why is 40% of the global economy is still investing in gold as the BRICS nations accumulate gold. This article brings out Western banks continue to short sell gold. That's going to be pretty catastrophic. But in this article, something that I wanted to bring out, and if you'll look back on my prior videos, I did a video couple years ago about Putin going to gold-backed money and being prepared for the sanctions against him. I did several videos about the BRICS nations and how the BRICS nations have grown, but like I mentioned, it represents over 40% of the global population, so it's a powerful counterweight to the dollar, but it's more than 40% of the population. It's also 40% of the global economy because it continues to grow. So BRICS nations increasingly turn to gold to diversify their reserves and hedge against inflation. The bloc signals its intent to reshape global trade and finance, and they are absolutely going to do that. They created a new measure of currency called the unit, which is 40% gold, along with other assets to back its value. Keep in mind, what backs the dollar's value is the good faith of the United States of America, and even apolitical, but truth is truth. Even citizens can't trust the government of the United States anymore to look out for their best interest. I'm sure you must agree with me, no matter what political party you adhere to. And so if the money is hinged upon the good faith of the nation, and the nation has no good faith for even its citizens, how can you put your trust in that money? Now that money is going to have to change, just like these BRICS nations are changing their money through a golden coalition. But I've said all along, it's a dance. The little countries have to get ready before the big guy gets on board. The big guy will get on board. And that's why. Because countries will continue to invest in gold. You'll notice it says the BRIC nations are quietly stockpiling gold for years. The United States, at the last measurement I read in the prior video, has roughly the equivalent of the next 3 nations in gold holdings. In other words, the United States is first, and the total tonnage is in the same neighborhood as the next 3 nations, which I believe are Germany, France, and another nation. I can't remember which one without referring to the video. And so it's not too late, folks, for us to consider gold, because as this next article brings out, Gold has shattered a 44-year resistance trend line, which is a powerful bullish signal. And what that means, folks, in this very recent article from October 13th, is that gold has reached a point, believe it or not, of what's called price discovery. It has broken past the resistance. It is flying at all-time highs, soaring. All-time high of 6 weeks. See, we're past that already in just the 4 or 5 days since this article. And now gold is at price discovery, meaning there's no prior history to slow its trajectory upwards. Well, here it is right here. This upward trajectory began forming in the late 1970s. I guess I should read more. But there's nothing to stop this trajectory after having broken this trend line that has lasted for 44 years. That, friends, is price discovery. And that is why it is possible, and in fact very likely, that the numbers that I've been giving you before of 5, 10, 25,000 are actually possible, and possible soon. So your money will be safe. Here this analyst says, points to a potential $4,000 price target. That's too low for me. And I remember reading something in one of these articles where the experts were wrong. Well, we've seen the experts were wrong. We've seen the AI has been wrong. But the technical analysis doesn't lie. The trend towards gold-backed money doesn't lie. The BRICS nations converting to the unit in gold-backed currencies doesn't lie. Is it too late? It's not too late. Let's backtrack to that other article to bring out these final points. And so in that previous article, as BRICS accumulate gold, Western banks continue to short sell. That's very dangerous. And that pinch is what's going to also spike the price of gold up, by the way, folks, is when they have to cover those shorts. But if we'll scroll down a little bit, I'll find the points I'm trying to make. Excuse me, Bogey. Be quiet. It says here, without the West paying attention, vaults and COMEX and LBMA are being systematically drained in a quiet but dramatic shift of physical gold and silver to the Eastern treasuries. The market analysts describe this as an unprecedented transfer of wealth. Folks, you can be a part of that transfer of wealth. Remember I mentioned the 35% before? If you put $1,000 in the bank today, and a year from now you look at it and it's $1,350, are you going to be disappointed? No. And so what I'm saying is it's very likely that $1,000 will be more like $1,800, $1,900, or even more, because if you take $2,700 and you make it $5,000, you're nearly doubled your money, and you don't have to do anything. Would you consider that a safe place for your money? It says this Western banks short selling scheme. You know, it says Western banks. It says, as the vaults drain, Western banks are being exposed for massive short selling positions in gold, igniting outrage across financial circles. It's going to ignite a fire under the price of gold as well. And people, this is not financial advice. This is for your entertainment, your education, your edification, your encouragement. Buy some gold. It says here the banks are caught in a golden trap. Now I've got videos in the back on banks too. If you're new to my channel, thank you for visiting. I hope you subscribe. I hope you go back, because believe it or not, the prior videos I've done, the overwhelming majority of them are still applicable to this very day, and they will expose that what I was saying a year ago, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago was accurate. And now we are here. And now I'm trying to say, where are we going from here? Well, the writing is on the wall. We're going to a new financial order. As the BRICS nations continue to amass gold and challenge the dominance of the dollar. The dollar is, I'll say it again, the dollar died when the price of oil, the petrodollar, was negative. It's been a band-aid ever since. And it's been a wake-up call, just as it says here. But the wake-up call to Western investors, that's us over here on this side of the globe, is exactly what DKWILL is trying to say to you now. Consider physical gold. And then there's a renowned investor, Ray Dalio, recommends allocating at least 50% of your portfolio to gold. I mentioned in my prior video, I think I'm at 11.2%. I was a little higher, had to come down. He went on to say, if you don't own gold, you know neither history nor economics. So if you don't trust me, trust Ray, folks. And I'm going to end this with a little bit about Glint. I'm sure there's a link in on my page somewhere about Glint. You get 50% on your vault fees, which only amount to chump change for them to hold your gold. Because when you go to Glint and buy gold, you own the physical gold. It's just kept in a vault. And you get a debit card so you can spend the dust off of that gold, or you can spill the chunks off of that gold. You can spend it however you want, wherever the card is accepted. So, that's all I got to say about this, folks. I hope you listen. For those who are scared of crypto, here's another place to put your money and feel safe. I'm DKWILL. This is DKWILL Talk About It. And I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day. Folks, they're setting traps because they don't want people to be wealthy or rich or even well-to-do. They want a big chasm between those who have and those who have not. So they have gotten in on the crypto while everybody was running away from all that red blood in the streets with the crypto markets. They have been accumulating. There's a video back there about that recently. Watch my videos. And now they're bringing the herd in. And of course, they're fattening up and making you think you can run to the banks while not telling you that the banks are failing. Because remember, folks, gold is going to destroy the Fed. And so they don't want you to know that. So they want you to put your money into the banks too, and then when it fails and crushes your money, what are you going to do about it? When you go into the cryptocurrency market and you don't know what to buy, and so you buy something that you shouldn't, and then it becomes counterfeit money, and it becomes worthless, and now your money stays in the market for people like me who are waiting there with the real values to keep the money, and then when to come out not to be a part of the trap. I'm not saying don't use the banks. The banks are going to become good service industries or they're going to fail. They're going to serve the people with the money. And the more money, the more service. And so while looking forward to seeing a return on your investment, it's time to look beyond the return on the investment and look at what are you going to do with that return. Because just as it's at risk in the market, it's going to be at risk when you pull it out of a market. I don't care if it's the currency market or the crypto market or the finance market or the banking industry. You are going to need to know where to go with your money. And sometimes the safe place to be is where everything is already going.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.